Is it just me who has intrusive thoughts to max out a seemingly useless weapon? It probably explains why I don't have many coins. For instance, simply putting one throw on a fell sword makes it comparable to a livid dagger. I had this suggestion in my Discord server to hypermax a dreadlord sword, 10 stars, recon, max enchants, etc. Now, on face value, it sounds like a stupid idea. Well, which it is. But that had me thinking, early game the dreadlord sword kind of carries in the early floors. So that had me thinking, what could this weapon do with some decent enchants and just a little bit of upgrading? I'm not going to fully max it out like the suggestion actually suggested, you know, we don't want any chimera going on there. However, we're going to get it to a decent point and see what it can do. Will this weapon be a waste of millions of coins, or will it be a weapon to rival the Hyperion? I assume it's probably going to be more of the first. We picked up this here dreadlord sword for 3,000 coins. And for those of you who don't know, basically if you right click with the dreadlord sword, it fires like a wither sort of head. And it just explodes and kills. And that's pretty much it. It's a mage weapon, it's a right click mage weapon. It's pretty good for early floors when you're early game. And that's pretty much it. The damaging figures are not great, 70k. But it's now time to give this weapon a bit of a makeover. First of all, we need to get Ultimate Wise 5 on there, so that's already minus 3.2 mil on all the XP. There we go. We also need to try and get Heroic, and that's done. And that's majority of the basic enchants that we need too. There are the Hot Potato books, and also the Fumins. Of course, we need to recombobulate this too. And I guess at some point we're probably going to test out in dungeons, so we might as well put some stars on there too. Now, considering we've spent, you know, a sizable amount of coins, our damage is increased by about 10k. Oh yeah, that was a waste of coins. Actually, I managed to get our damage up a little bit more. I kind of forgot. I mean, I always forget, and I wasn't using my Implosion Belt on my Gauntlet of Contagion. That takes us up over 100k damage at least. And honestly, it is obvious to see that it was never really going to be that good. I mean, the base damage that it deals when you actually shoot one of those skulls is about 14k. Compare that to a Hyperion, which is 272k. We can't really compare these two weapons anyway. But before we can find out if that monstrosity of a weapon can be actually good in any circumstance, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS. Get yourself 50% off. Also, you should subscribe to the channel and become part of the 26%. There's no reason not to. You should also join my Discord server, it's linked in the description of every single video. However, if we compare it to something like a Spirit Scepter, the exploding damage does 32k, which is still like 2.5 times, if not slightly more damage than the Dreadlord Sword. So maybe a better comparison would be something like the Spirit Scepter, costing around about 30 to 40 million coins. The Spirit Scepter essentially works in a very similar way to the Dreadlord Sword. You just right click, and this time it shoots a bat instead of a skull. Also, the Dreadlord Sword, it's just a skull, and it's essentially the same thing. Except the Spirit Scepter's mana cost, even with Ultimate Wise 5, is 100 in comparison to the Dreadlord Sword's 20. However, I want to test this out in dungeons. I really don't know what sort of miracle I'm hoping for. I guess we'll find out. Alright, I was kind of expecting not to be able to kill anything, and granted this is floor 5, and, you know, floor 5 isn't too difficult when you have 1200 magical power and Catacombs 36. I didn't think I could actually be able to kill things. The damage is not very good though, as you can probably imagine. It's a Dreadlord Sword, 800k. And if you compare this to a Spirit Scepter, well, we'll never know. Now, if we actually compare it to a Spirit Scepter, the damage is way considerably more at 36, well, 3.6 million, 3.5. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, don't do this. Yeah, don't. Just don't. I wonder if we can find any use for this weapon at all. For instance, if we go to the Crimson Isles, trying to take on mobs with 2.5 million HP, with a weapon that barely does over 100k damage is quite clearly a recipe for disaster. Let's actually try and kill one. I want to see how long it takes. Yeah, I think this weapon might be slightly out of its depth at this point. Even the Spirit Scepter honestly struggles. I mean, unless at least it can hit mobs that are quite far away. I mean, with the Hyperion, you could just do that. Imagine the level 370 in this lobby watching some absolute imbecile run around with a Dreadlord Sword. Yeah, I'd be questioning things if I was him. I feel like I'm now more at the right speed. At least we can one-tap things down here. Alright, so I've come to a conclusion. What I'm going to do is show you a few tasks that are definitely safe to do with the Dreadlord Sword. I wouldn't go any further though. You know, even though this Dreadlord Sword, I've sunk several millions into this. Yeah, still not great. Anyway, as I was saying, if you come over to the farm, if you want to kill some cows, perfect. You know, it's great that they don't fight back, they don't move around. Absolutely epic. It's pretty much the only way to kill these animals. Really cool. Yeah, it's also pretty good in the spider's den. You can keep your distance from these silverfish. Very nasty, and of course the spiders too. Absolutely obliterating that 300 health. How about a tier 4 spider slayer boss? Yeah, I guess it works. I mean, to be honest, I probably could have been just as effective using my fist, but that's besides the point. I'm trying to test it out against a Sven, but it literally... Oh, it's painful. Svens are painful. And they take a painful amount of time to spawn. So it literally spawned and somebody insta-killed it, and I wanted to test if this mighty dreadlord sword could actually take it on. And I guess we'll have to go again, but it's just very frustrating. It's happened again. I'll literally give up. Let's just assume that it's going to struggle. Okay, let's see what we can do to... You know what? It's not going to be an issue. It just doesn't do a lot of damage. Yeah. It's going to take a while. Not even that long, actually. Just die. I'm sorry, you know what? I've gone through the pain. You've also got to go through the pain. All I'm saying is, if you're in the Obsidian Sanctuary and you have a dreadlord sword, you're balling. It's an absolute shredding machine. Most of the people here won't have even considered or even thought about doing dungeons. Yeah. Really would set yourself out from the pack. Not sure if it's necessary to have one with ultimate wise and so on. I wonder if we can kill these bad boys. Oh yeah, we can. The Ice Walkers are no match. In fact, this is not a bad tactic. Genuinely isn't a bad tactic. Because think about it, right? How annoying is it when you don't have a god pot and you've got people running around at 700 miles an hour killing these Ice Walkers before you? Look no further. Get a dreadlord sword. Well, I understandably didn't have high expectations, although I was hoping it would fare a little bit better than it did, honestly. Having said that, a dreadlord sword dealing 1 million damage in dungeons isn't that bad. But just because I've sort of upgraded this weapon doesn't mean it's going to be good, and of course I already knew this, and I already knew this was probably going to be the outcome. I guess if you have a ton of leftover coins and you want to upgrade a weapon, don't, leave the dreadlord sword alone. Okay, aspects of the Jerrys are in the game for a reason. Okay, there's a reason for these bad boys. And it's quite clear what the reason is. Anyway, on that note, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.